What's up, YouTube? Tench Arizonia, the angry Dracolope of the Dracolope crew here, and I thought I would do a video today. Now, not a vlog or a review, or it might turn into a review given the subject matter, which will be, excuse me a second, this. My Worksharp guided sharpening system. Now, why is this going to come into play? Well, it's going to come into play because I'm going to be sharpening this. I might add this into the video, or I might just do a short clip of some of the sharpening and add that in. But before I do that, I want to compare this, a paring knife from the chef's block in our kitchen, to this, the cold steel roach belly, which I use to prepare my food with on Christmas Day. And so as not to skew results, I'm just going to use one of my standard airsoft targets. Now, I'm going to put this one down for a minute and start with this. Now, bear in mind, this knife right here has hardly ever been used. The block we have in the kitchen is almost never used, period. In fact, when Ken is home, he has a little serrated knife he uses. I don't use it, I only use my own knives when I do food prep. So let me show you how piss poor the edge on this knife is. Oh, shit, what edge? Yeah, that's not good. Let's compare it to this. Cold steel roach belly, crux 4116 stainless steel. A stark comparison between these two knives. Now, this knife has never been sharpened at all, and this is the edge it came with. Like I said, this knife has hardly been used. So this is the edge that it came with. This knife has been used a fair amount, cutting steak, veg, opening mail, all sorts of stuff, to be honest. And it is still as sharp as the day I got it. It is still the factory edge. In fact, the only thing I have done to this is strop it. So, yeah, let's see what the Worksharp can do for the chef's block paring knife and see if it can come out anywhere near as good as my cold steel roach belly. Now, I will get on to doing that video now, so I will see you after that to give you my final impressions. See you soon. Well, we're back, folks, and as you saw from the previous clip, I started on the coarse diamond plate on the Worksharp. I didn't run through all my grits and I didn't do a full-length recording for the sharpening because I realised only after I started that my SJ cam was running low on battery. So you saw me go through the coarse grit diamond plate. I then went through the fine and finally followed up with the ceramic rod from the Workshop and the strop plate. Now the plate came off of this a few months back, so I just used this on my tabletop now instead of getting rid of a perfectly fine piece of stropping leather. Now you saw in the first part of this video how that knife had no edge whatsoever. Now I didn't really take my time doing the sharpening because this knife just really isn't worth it, but I have managed to put something of an edge on it. Perfectly adequate for kitchen use. Now I probably will refine this later as I'm not all that happy with it, and it does still snag, as you can see, still tears a little bit, but compared to what it was before, that is an improvement. And the other reason I'm not too concerned about the edge on this knife is because I have no idea what the steel is. This was just a cheap set of chef's knives me and Ken got years ago, probably 5 or 6 years ago. We've never used them, and you can see why, because of how dull they were. And just about 5 to 10 minutes on the Worksharp guided sharpening system, put an edge on this knife. Okay, it's not a perfect edge, it's not the perfect sharpness, as you can see it does still snag, but it also cuts, which it did not do before. You saw this knife earlier, it did not cut this target paper. And this target paper is not thick stuff. It's not particularly heavy, it's probably about 80 gram paper. So the fact that it was tearing it before and is now cutting, albeit not as good as my cold steel, and I am running out of space here, so I'm having to constantly pick up fresh bits of paper. Yeah, you can see that's cutting. It does indeed cut when I get the edge lined up correctly. It is a 20-degree edge, and I sharpen my knives to 17 degrees per side. So this is a 40-degree edge, and my knives are a 34-degree inclusive edge. So based on that alone, and the fact that I wasn't taking my time, would I recommend getting the Worksharp guided sharpening system? Yes, but there's a caveat, and that is, if you can afford it, you may want to go for the Canonian blade grinder Worksharp instead. Or if you've got the patience and are very consistent on your angles, get whetstones. But for an entry-level system, I'd say this is good. Now, yes, it does have its limitations. It is not very good at sharpening larger blades. Pocket knives, kitchen knives, it does fine with, but something the size of the Tops Tahoma field knife it may have a bit of an issue with, which is where the Canonian blade grinder comes in, as well as the other Worksharp belt grinder. For the knife makers among you, you don't need to bother with any of these systems because you're likely going to have 2x72 grinders and a wide array of belts that will get a mirror polished edge on any blade. Though for most people who have knives and don't want to go into the belt grinders, because let's face it, they are noisy and dirty, then the Workshop guided sharpening system is a good entry-level system. I can't compare it to anything like the Wicked Edge because I've never used the Wicked Edge. I don't even have access to that system. I have used landscape sharpeners before, such as the Blade Medic, and it is very comparable to those, at least to the ceramic sharpeners on those and the diamond sharpener on the Blade Medic. But yeah, pretty much I would recommend getting the Workshop guided sharpening system as an entry level sharpening solution. Notice I say entry level, because even with the upgrade kit, which includes an extra coarse plate, an extra fine plate, and a stropping plate, as well as some green compound, you will not get the results that you can by using either good quality whetstones or by using a full size 2x72 grinder and a good selection of belts for that grinder, including, might I add, stropping belts. You'll also find the larger belt grinders in the long run more cost effective, because a large block of stropping compound will only cost around $6 or $7, and if you're using a belt grinder or a bench grinder with a buffing wheel for that stropping compound, or like I said, a belt grinder with a stropping belt, then you'll get far more usage out of those tools and a block of stropping compound than you will out of a manual sharpening system. Anyway, overall, I would rate the Workshop guided sharpening system 4 stars, just because of the fact it doesn't handle large blades as well as it does pocket knives. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this video. That's all for now. If you like it, please subscribe, comment and share. And remember, be good to each other.